ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Punch the Dhyana slokas. You're muted. Punjabication, you're muted. We can't hear you.
भद्रं कर्णेभिः श्रूयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः विषेमैन्द्रं देवैन्द्रभ्यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो हरिश्चरेभिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay. Any questions, clarifications? We are meeting after a 1 week gap. We are seeing that both waking and dream both are mithya. Okay. Both are not the same, but both are mithya. They are similar. Any questions or clarifications? Okay, there are no questions, then I'll go ahead. Then he is raising a question, the author, the Purvapakshi. What is the Purvapakshi raising? He says, Ubhayoropi Vaitatyam Vedanam Stanayor Yadihi Ka etan buddhyate Vedan Ko Vaitesham Vikalpakaha. More than a Purvapaksha, it's a question. Okay? It's a question. Says, Ubhayoropi Vaitatyam. If both are mithya, then Vedanam Stanayor Yadi. And any differences is Sthala Vishesha, Sthana Vishesha. Because of the different place, etc. that we have seen before. Then, Ka etan buddhyate Vedan Kovai Tesham Vikalpakaha. Then who is the one who is seeing all the differences? Who is the one who has projected the whole thing? Because when you remember one thing, when you say that something is mithya, obviously something was responsible for manifesting it. Okay. Snake is mithya. Who manifested the snake? Someone saw it, no? The one who saw it manifested it. Because it's a limited thing. What is responsible for the creation of the snake? Now to say waking, dream both are mithya, that means waker, dreamer both are mithya. Then who is the one who is seeing it and saying this is mithya? Because that entity should know the satyam also. Because you can't say something is mithya unless you know the satyam. Not completely at least. I mean, you can talk about from various standpoints, saying it's relative, it doesn't exist in the 3 periods of time, etc. In a limited way you can talk about it. But really speaking, to say that snake is mithya, you should know the rope. Otherwise, how do you say it's mithya? Someone says, snake is mithya, okay? You mean it's a rope? No. If there is no rope there, then what is it? The snake becomes real then, no? Therefore, the completeness of the mithyatum is only when somebody knows it is mithya. Okay? And then the question will come up, who is a vikalpakaha? Who is the one who projected the whole thing? Snake rope example being a very limited example, you can say the one who sees it projected it. But what about this totality? Because I as an individual can never see the totality. I'll be seeing only my limited view, no? My vision of it. Even this physical dimension, we are not seeing everything. There's a whole universe in the palm of my hand. Can you see it? Aye. If I go to Sunita Savla's clinic and put my hand under the microscope, then you will see, क्या नाटकबाजी चल रहा है उधर. So, my perception of the whole thing is very limited. So, who is the Vikalpakaha? Who is the one who has projected the whole thing? So, there he says, there will be more pukshas, we will see that. Let us see the answer. Kalpeti atmana atmanam atma devo svayamaya sa eva buddhyate vedan iti vedanta nischaya. He says, Kalpeti atmana atmanam. Atmana on the self, atmanam kalpayati. Okay? The Atma, the consciousness itself is doing the whole thing. And the Atma becomes what? Deva Swamayaya. The Atma is Ishvara with respect to its own Maya Shakti. Okay. Seva Buddhyate Vedan. He is the one who knows all the Vedas, all the Namarupas. Iti Vedanta Nishchayaha. Iti Vedanta Nishchayaha. That means what? Who is the one who has projected it? The consciousness. Which consciousness? The consciousness, there was only one consciousness. How can you say which consciousness? The consciousness through Maya has projected the whole thing. In fact, in Panchapadika, etc., consciousness itself is presented as Ishvara. No difference. Why? Because isn't that the fact? Why do we have to say, from the standpoint of this body, from the standpoint of Maya, etc.? Because we are still identified with the body mind. When I say I, it does not resolve into consciousness. The I is not resolved into consciousness. If the I was resolved into consciousness, no problems. But the I is not resolved into consciousness. That's why I have to say two different standpoints, etc., etc. Otherwise, consciousness through Maya creates the whole universe. Ho gaya kaam. So when you say, oh, what do you mean? You have created? Naturally, everyone will say, no. Why not? Why not?
Because we are still identified with the body mind.
Exactly, we are too caught up. When I say I, it is not resolved into the consciousness. It is still stuck on the body and mind. That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason. Otherwise, where? Then he explains it further. How the creation, etc. takes place. Little bit he explains. Okay. Vikaropi Vikaroti aparan bhavan antaschitte vyavasthitan niyatamsha bahischattaha evam kalpyate prabhu. Now the Prabhu, the Lord, the consciousness, is projecting inside outside. First he creates an inside outside division. Then he says, Vikarha, Vikaroti aparan bhavan. All these various namarupas, Vikaroti, he manifests. Antaschittaha, inside the mind. And then Niyatamsha Bahischittaha, then projects it outside. Evam kalpyate Prabhu. Why is he saying this? Because for Ishvara there is nothing outside him, no? Everything is inside. So who's asking? Who has created? Me, the individual. Correct? Consciousness caught up in individuality. So for me there is inside, outside both, isn't it? So the Lord has to create inside, outside differences first. Therefore, after having created this difference, inside you create, project it outside. Okay, come. For Ishvara, Maya, Shakti alone is enough. He is equating this verse or making this verse with regard to what you and I do. All things are created twice in our world, isn't it? First, inside our mind, then we have to create it outside. Whether it's making a cup of tea or a computer chip, it has to be conceived inside and then made outside. For consciousness, manifest in Maya Shakti, what is it? To think is to be. Conception itself is a creation. Understand the difference, okay? But look at it. Even from the individual standpoint, many things that you say, this is an object, is actually a socio-cultural projection, isn't it? Remember my old story? Yeah, conception itself is a creation. That's true. As far as the world, as far as Ishvara is concerned. But even for you and me, look at this. My old story. My American friend comes to India. And when they come here and I want to take them for a meal or something, I will not expose them to my cooking. Because my cooking is sadhu cooking, you know. Gosai. Gosai rice. What is Gosai chora? Khichdi. So this guy said, Swamiji, I want to have a traditional meal, Indian meal. I said, there is nothing like a traditional Indian meal. Every state, every district has its own traditional Indian meal. In India, you travel 10 kilometers in any direction, you will find variations in the food. Commonness and variations also. No, in this state we are living in. I said, okay. So I rang up a Maharashtrian student. I know the lady is a good cook. So I said, hey, my friend has come. He wants to experience a traditional meal. You don't have to make it elaborate, but just traditional meal. Of course I will do. So he went there. And in Maharashtrian meal, they will give you a part to sit on, a small little board, okay, to sit on, and then once you sit, they will put the plate in front of you. This is traditional. So this guy, instead of sitting on the part, he goes and sits on the floor in front of it and says, you eat on very low tables, don't you? In his mind, there is no concept of part. Therefore, he doesn't see it as part. So when you say this is a part, what is that? A common projection, isn't it? Common projection by a few people. This is part. Why should it not be called table? It's not because we sit on it. That's how you are using it. But if you want to keep a few murtis for puja, will you not put a part and put the murtis on top of it? That time it's used as a table, no? Revade. This is all just constructs. Yeah. So what is it? Your projection only. Yeah. It's your projection only, or kya? Even though you did not physically create it. But to recognize the part is a projection. To recognize as a table is another projection. Correct or not? Yeah. Should go to an archaeological dig, where archaeologists are digging to find something. Suddenly they no, stop. And he's very excited, others are excited, this, that, etc. Oh, we found a tool. You and I look at it, what tool? Swamiji, this is an arrowhead. Arrowhead? I see a piece of stone there, nothing else. But these guys are going ecstatic about it. We should carbon date it, find out how old it is. This will change our understanding of history. Patthar hai yaar. Are you sure it's an arrowhead or nature has shaped it? No, Swamiji, see the strokes on this when he clear it up, no? With a brush he clears it all up. I said, see the cut marks on it. I said, the nature also can create all that. No. Maybe. Old one. The eye sees what the mind knows. So if that concept is there in the mind, you will see it. First of all, you have to assume that the Stone Age people use stone arrowheads. Why would anyone use a stone arrowhead? I don't know. When over the fire you can harden the stick enough to have the same function. But whatever. So, what is this thing that you are calling name and form? Projection only. No? Total level, definitely. I am saying even at the individual level. Remember the story of my friend Rohit, the driver, who wanted Samudra Darshan. And his brother took him to the Chapati. Samudra Darshan. समुद्र किधर है? वो क्या है? वो तो पानी है. That is water. ये तो गंगा में बहुत देखा है. I seen a lot of water in the Ganga. That is what samudra. On top of it, you'll make a difference. This is Indian Ocean. This is Bay of Bengal. This is Arabian Sea. This Pacific, Atlantic. There's markings of it. At least on the land, you can put up a fence and make a mark. But rivers run across. Continental shelf runs across. Idea of nation is a construct. People are willing to die for that. What is construct? ओशन में क्या डिफरेंस है? No, from here the Atlantic starts, here the Pacific. How do you say that? How do you say this? So, what is the world? Therefore, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi seems to have some sort of this thing. Even that is not true. Prithvi mein Akash nahi hai. Does not the space pervade the Prithvi and the water and everything? So what is it that we are talking about? This just not there. The body, again, who decides how the body should be? Who decides whether you are a diabetic or not? Sometimes I feel the pharmaceutical companies are deciding it. Because this guy went to sleep in the night. Postprandial blood sugar 160 was considered normal. Then on the pressure of the pharmaceutical companies, they decided 140 is the new normal, 160 is diabetic. So he went to sleep normal, woke up diabetic. Who decides? But Swamiji, these are universal standards, no? Who decides? I accept too much of sugar in the system is bad. I accept all that. But who decides what is standard? Average is just working on averages or kya? BP, who decides what is normal?
Americans.
Huh?
Americans.
Yeah. Some companies decide depending on how much of the medication you want to push.
Coconut oil is bad, palm oil is good.
Yeah.
When they were producing. Now, back to
Reversed. Yeah. Coconut oil is now considered superfood. It can prevent, or is a good thing to prevent Alzheimer's, etc. But for 30 years, 40 years, we are on the belief it was bad. No? So who decides? Who decides the whole thing? Mithyatvam. Now the pressure is to put in GM foods into India. GM foods are such the seeds cannot germinate. You'll have to buy the seeds from them every year. And if you don't toe their line, they will refuse to sell food, sell the seeds. You have famine in the country. If you don't agree with that, tariffs. Go fish, you are isolating yourself, that's all. So, social, political construct और क्या है ये सब? मिथ्यात्व. Talking to this from the reality, okay? All this is mithya. Where is the reality in any one of them? There is no reality. Two things. The social, political world that we live in is a projection. We are talking the physical world also is a projection. Through Maya Shakti, the whole thing is a projection. Conceive, project, bas itna hi hai. From the standpoint of Ishvara, conception itself is a projection. Conception itself is a projection. Because there is no inside outside. We have to make things twice, he has to make things only once. Make things, conceive of it only once. Okay. Then he gives you, there is a difference we accept, but this is what the difference is. चित्तकाला हि अंतस्तु द्वयकालाश्च ये बहि कल्पिता एव ते सर्वे विशेषो नान्य हेतुकः. Antastha, that is which is inside you. Chittakala hi. Whatever is inside will last as long as you have the thought of it. Okay. In the dream, you are milking a cow. How long will that milking last? Don't say until you finish milking. As long as the thought is there in your mind. And that's all it lasts. And dvaya kalasya ye bahi. And what is outside? 2 points of time. Why the cow will be there? You started milking, you ended milking. Here, as long as the thought lasts, there, as long as your action lasts, therefore minimum 2 points of time. Itna hi hai. Difference is only this much. Difference is only this much. Kalpita evataye sarve vishesho nanya hetukaha. Therefore kalpita eva. Both are kalpita eva. There is no reality in it. Swakale satyavad bhati. In its own time, it appears as though it is real. That is all. Reality is a fact. World appears as though real. Unreal appears as though real. Nowhere is this truth more experienced as in quantum physics. What is the thing I am dealing with? Never sure. There's never surety. There's never surety in it. I told you, the description of the electron. Is it a wave or a particle? If you're not observing it, it's a wave. If you see it, it's a particle. Why? It gets self-conscious, and freezes up. Now, if you can say it acts as both, can I not joke it freezes up? That means you cannot definitely say what is it. If you cannot definitely say, that means what? There's nothing definite about it. There's nothing definite about it means it's nebulous. That's what we call mithya anyway. Sometimes it appears like that, sometimes it appears like that. Means what? So, dvaya kalam, that's all. He goes on further in the same light. अव्यक्ताः एव ये अन्तस्तु स्फुटा एव च ये बहिः कल्पिता एव ते सर्वे विशेष स्व इंद्रिय आंतरे. Says avyakta eva ye antastu. Inside it is not manifest. Sputa eva evahi. Outside it is manifest. Okay. Kalpita eva te sarve. Now what is being manifested outside? A concept, right? Let us talk about from our standpoint. Let us talk from our standpoint. Okay. Inside is a concept. What you are manifesting? A concept. So just because you manifested it outside, it became real? Look at it. You had a concept. Kurta. You had a concept in your mind. You got tired of wearing this upper cloth. उपवस्त्र. बस में जाने का when I started wearing an upper cloth, I had great sympathies for the ladies with their pallus and their dupattas and everything. Became very empathetic to them. So this guy said, hey, we should make something more practical. So he conceived of a kurta. Something that been covered. Place for the arms to go through, and the head to go through. But the head then big-headed. There will be a big hole. No. Then you have to put buttons to make it smaller. Then it has to be long enough to cover the upper body. Thoda zyada length will look better. But then if you're making like that, where will you carry things? So one pocket, two pockets, okay. Conceived all of that in his mind first. Then he made it outside. Suddenly it becomes Satyam. Just because it's outside, it will become real. It is nothing but cloth. Kurta does not have an existence. It's only a concept. It's only a concept. Which you have tried to give it some reality by putting it on the cloth. Correct? By putting it on the cloth, you have tried to give it some functional reality. Yeah, form to serve a function, correct? Yeah, all form is meant for function. Therefore, if the form is mithya, function is also mithya. No? If the form is mithya, function is mithya. That means all karma is mithya. You remember that old story, no? The king in a sabha, all thoughts were represented. See, in ancient India, the king never had absolute power, okay? Because a good king always listened to advisors. Therefore, there was a council of ministers, etc. There was also a Rajaguru. Okay. So, olden days Rajaguru, like Vasishta for the Ishwaku dynasty, one person. So even today in some places that is there. No? If you go to a medical hospital and they have an ethical committee, they are supposed to have a philosopher on board. I was there for some 14 years in Jaslok until I got fed up of it. He said both ho gaya. Taking too much of time and effort, and I dropped it. So similarly, the king also had. Then later on, there were more than one school of thought coming up. Therefore, he had a small little sub-council of spiritual teachers. And he had always a leaning towards Advaita Guru. It sounded more logical and in harmony with things, the harmony with the Shastra. The king was an intellectual, Yeah. Yeah. Remember, kings have to have something up here. Whether you are a king or a prime minister or president, there should be something up here. And you have to behave like that. You can't be behaving like a schoolyard bully or a don. You're a king. You're a president. You're a king. You're the prime minister. You have to behave appropriately. That's why the council, to keep the thing in time. Okay. Yeah, because if a joker goes into the palace, he doesn't become the king. The palace becomes a circus. Okay. So, here, everything here, he gave more weightage to the Advaita Guru. So, others didn't like that. So, one king went hunting. Hunting was necessary for kings. Oh my God, with all your talk of ahimsa and all, what you're talking about hunting? Yeah, necessary. Why? All forests were more or less reserved forests. Okay. So in a reserved forest, sometimes you'll find there's too much of one type of animals coming up. They have to be culled. You go to Africa and you go to all the safaris, no? Ask them how much culling takes place. Then you will know. Because one breed may become too many and it may create a problem in the biodiversity. So culling is necessary, number one. Number two, Kshatriyas had to hunt. Why? Otherwise, the first sight of blood, you may faint. You should see what happens in medical college. With the first time they are exposed to surgery. Sunita, how many people faint? First sight of blood. You'll find people dropping. In a hospital, it's okay. You'll get used to it. On the battlefield, there's no time to get used to it. So you better get used to it before you enter the battlefield. So the young warriors, the young princes, etc., have to go and hunt. Okay? That's one way of getting used to it. But that's all violence. Yes, it is violence. Poor animals. Yeah, poor animals. What do you want me to do? Hunt men? Hunt human beings? What? Or animals? Keep that Californian empathy at home. Okay. World is a violent place. Accept that. So the king went hunting. King went hunting. Naturally, the king doesn't go alone unless he's going incognito. The retinue follows. When the retinue follows, naturally the gurus are also there. The whole council follows. Because certain important decisions are taken place there also. So, and as they were riding, the king and the Advaita Guru were riding together. Suddenly the Advaita Guru said, "Tusker, wild elephant." He wheeled his horse and the others also wheeled. Everyone ran back. The soldiers went and drove it away. So then the others went and asked the king, "You are saying everything is mithya. Now why did you run?" So the king said, "Please answer them." He said, "Who said my running was satyam? Running is equally mithya." A function that is based on a mithya form does not become real. Therefore, karma phala, everything is what? Mithya. Creating karma phala, suffering the karma phala. Both are mithya. Bhoga is mithya. Tapas is mithya. Even the learning is mithya. Who's the one coming to learn? Sachidananda Atma. Now saying, Adihu Deho Brahmeti. And who's the teacher? Oh, I am great Mahatma teacher. Hey, Revade, you're Sachidananda, that's all, nothing else. Where is the Guru? Where is the teacher? There is only one Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. और कुछ है ही नहीं है. Go. In between, all this mithya game goes on. All the mithya game goes on. There is no satyam in anything anyway. This has to go home. That everything that you are dealing with, everything that you hold sacred, mithya. It's all within the mithya world. So in the mithya world you can talk of something as sacred, something as profane. What is sacred, what is profane? At the absolute standpoint, nothing. The reality means a very different thing. और क्या? There's nothing else. Are you getting the whole idea? To understand that everything that you hold sacred is mithya. Nobody is denying that something is sacred, something is profane, something is dharmic, some things are adharmic. Your worship is sacred. Your relationships are sacred. What you do is very important contribution to the society. Not one thing is denied. But all that exists in this mithya world. You are the one who is objectifying the whole thing. You are the only satyam there. Nothing else. That Guru turning around the horse and moving away is important. Yeah. The king withdrawing there is important. Both of them are unarmed, important. True, wherever there is mithya, there is satyam. But what you are focused on is only the mithya. That's why, how do you focus on the satyam? You can't say satyam is here. Either satyam hai. I will relate to that satyam. You will relate to the mithya masquerading as satyam now. That's even worse. That's the world, isn't it? Yeah. What is satyam? Only you. Nothing else is satyam. See, if you say something is important, you say something is not important, all that fine. Everything is true. Yeah. There are certain things you are willing to put your life on the line. That's okay. You will put your life on the line. Fine. Knowing that what you are fighting for, really speaking, is mithya, okay? What is satyam there, other than you? Once we see ourselves as satyam, yeah, the mithyatvam will be clear, but the experience will continue. like the rising sun, the flat earth, etc. Flat earth continues. Nobody takes it as real. No? I'm sure even the flat earth society doesn't take it as real. They can't. Even the flat earth society cannot take it as real anymore. वो टाइम हो गया उसके लिए सर. So, experience will continue. That is why you need to say it is mithya. Because the experience is continuing. That's it. That is why Vedanta cannot be presented as an experience. Because all experience is mithya. No experience is satyam. Including your samadhi experience. Why? It's an experience. So you are saying for half an hour you are infinite. Huh? For half an hour you are limitless. Then what happened after that? If this Satyam Mithya is not clear, your experience of Samadhi will be very disturbing for you. Like this great spiritual teacher, very popular, he says, I had this experience because I was sitting on some hill and meditating, and I had this experience. That I lost my mother that day. I couldn't relate to her anymore. Couldn't even look at her. Why not? Because you're afraid you'll get attached. No? You're afraid all those feelings will come up and you can't. But you could get married after that. That is okay. And his wife said, as of now, everything is fine. I don't want to wait until everything goes haywire for me to live on this world. I want to live on this world, leave this world when everything is fine. And she left her body when everything was fine. All these things come up. Satyam Mithya not clear. Everything becomes experience based. Big problem in today's world. It is always there, today it's more. Because everything is sold as an experience. Our time house was a house here. Practical, functional thing. You did some decoration, etc. But functioning was the most important thing. There is security. There's a place to sleep comfortably. It's a kitchen to cook. There is a sitting room to relate to people. There's a room for the kids. There's a room for a guest. All this function. Now what do they sell a apartment as? Go. Look at their ads, they'll tell you. Experience the joy of living here. The pleasure for your senses. Natakbaji. Forest themed. I saw that recently. An ad in the forest themed setup in Chembur. And where is it? Sindhi society, one of the most crowded areas. Kya forest theme hai? They will have a few plants here and there and say forest themed. The most crowded area in Chembur. Forest theme usko upar. Put it on the outskirts of Borivali National Park and say forest theme, I can understand that. At least a national park, you are overlooking the whole national park. Otherwise, what is it? You can't. There is no way you can take it that, as that. Even if it is true, you are selling it in experience means what? You are so holding on to the experience of things, you are forgetting reality. So moksha becomes another experience. Where is the reality there? Then all these issues will come up. You will not be able to deal with things. Yeah. Whereas for a Vedantin, there's not a problem. Yeah, it all clicked into place. Now the knowledge is settled. I know I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Then can you not relate with your mother after that? Say, Mom, fine, okay. Nitya hai. Do what she wants. Easier for you, no? Help her. She's getting old, she needs some help. Help her. Nitya hai. So, you'll be free from that over attachment and guilt. Oh, I can't do everything, I have not done everything. I've outsourced some things. You're taking care na, bas ho gaya. So, there is a problem. One is an experience, one is reality. Experience within the Mithya world. So all that you do is within the Mithya world. And what are you, Satyam? Akarta, Abhokta. You don't do anything, you don't experience anything. That's a fact. Then what about all this experience? Apparent, not real. Mithya. So the experiencer is Mithya. The experience is Mithya. The experiencing is also Mithya. But knowledge is also like that. Correct? All knowledge is like that. Until it ends up in self-recognition. After that, what? After that, what is there is there. Kritva jnanam swayam nashyet. Having given you the knowledge, the thought dies down. What is there now? Satyam jnanam anantam brahman. Anyat sarve shastra vistaraha. In the camp he saw room. Anyat sarve shastra vistaraha. It's all an elaboration of the shastra for understanding. This is all that is there. That's all the reality. So the whole thing is what? Attempt to recognize and be in this reality. Okay. Then a little bit he goes on about this, okay? Yeah. So that the idea that there is no real creation goes into your mind nicely and becomes firm there. Okay? But the next section we will see aram se. Next class. Okay? Good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.